Good morning. It's time for another practice session. Actually, I'm excited today. I know that I ended the last practice session with the phrase 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Wasn't that happy? Actually, it is 1 step forward and 2 steps back, but I never feel like that because even if I'm not happy with the practice session, at least I learned something. And last week I learned, okay, the range of motion from my left ankle is still not there. We have to improve on that one. That's a learning, and that's why I like to call it 2 steps forward and 1 step back. For today, I thought about this issue and thought about how I can solve this issue as soon as possible in just a couple of practice sessions. And one thing that has helped me in the past, and actually we are also doing the same thing at the Drum Technique Academy, is that we are using our pedals and our pedal settings as practice tool to help us either like gain control of a specific motion, like this fast twitching motion, or we use our pedal settings to play even louder, or we change pedal settings to play at higher tempos for longer periods of time with ease. We use our pedal settings and change our pedal settings for drummers that want to slow down with the ankle technique. There are certain hacks that you can use right there. So basically, it's the pedal is supposed to do most of the work for us, and we use it as not just a practice tool, but also the pedal and changed pedal settings are a tool to get a specific result. And today, I'm gonna do the same thing. Basically, I need a specific result, and what I need is I need an increased range of motion from my left ankle. I thought actually that it's back to normal again, and yes, I don't feel any pain in my left ankle, but still I don't have the full range of motion, which is not good. So we're gonna work on that one. And that's also the reason why I'm switching back to the Axis A short boards again. And the reason is, if you compare the Axis pedals with the VDL all the way back, if you compare this to the Tama Iron Cobra Junior pedals, the big difference is when it comes to the Tama pedals, the spring tension is kind of like the resistance is linear. So just like it increases the further you push it down. With the Axis pedals, with the VDL all the way back, I'm using a low to medium spring tension, and in the beginning the tension is extremely low, but the closer the beater gets to the bass drum head, the spring tension increases exponentially. So it's a curve like that. And this is a great thing because this also means after the bass drum beater hits the bass drum head, the pedal basically snaps back. That's the spring tension, the increased spring tension at the end. And this hopefully will allow and will actually force my left ankle to move back and get used to this bigger range of motion again. Because in the last practice session with my left foot, I felt that my left, like the motion is kind of slow. And yes, I'm playing in time, it's mostly tight, but still I get this smaller beater swing, less volume, and I just want to increase the range of motion for my left ankle. So that's what we're going to do today. I don't have to change any of the pedal settings of the Axis pedals, so that's all going to stay the same. And for the workout itself today, it's not really a timetable workout, but I'm going to constantly switch back and forth between 16 notes and 16 note triplets. So I think I'm going to start out at maybe 110 BPM, switching back and forth, 16 note triplets. The 16 note triplets at 110 is the same tempo as 16 notes at 165. So starting tempo 110, switching from 16 notes to 16 note triplets. Maybe 120 as well, so wait and see. 16 notes to 16 note triplets. And then we're gonna increase drastically. So I still have to test, but maybe it's gonna be 150, 16 notes and then triplets, 16 note triplets again. Or I'm even gonna jump to 160 right away. Let's wait and see. Cool thing about 160 is, and same for 150, at the 16 notes, it's all pure ankle technique, and 16 note triplets, same technique. And of course, 16 note triplets at 160, same tempo as 16 notes at 240 beats per minute, which is actually a bit above my maximum tempo right now, but I know that I can control this for a short amount of time. So I don't know if I'm gonna switch back and forth like every 2 beats or every bar. Let's wait and see. But still, it's gonna be the ankle technique all the way, and the Axis A short boards are gonna force me, hopefully force my left ankle to relax more, increase the range of motion, got more resistance, and the pedal slapping back. So this should help me out. And yeah, if I'm feeling good at 160, then I'm super happy already. Again, because then we would be at 240 for short periods of time, which is a big step forward on our road to 300 BPM challenge. All right, that's it. I'm gonna see you in a minute in the rehearsal room. Oh yes, so today, just one of those days. I'm feeling really good. So gonna start at 100 for 5 minutes. Again, switching between 16 note, 6 note triplets, then going to 110, then 120. And if I'm still feeling good, then I'm gonna go to 150 and 160. So in the beginning, I'm at 100 beats per minute. Actually, I'm just going to be focusing on playing as tight as possible and being as relaxed as possible, especially with my left leg, and trying to increase the range of motion. So I want to get a big beta swing, the beta swing that I'm getting with my right foot. Want the same with the left. So that's the goal. Let's do this, 100 beats per minute. 100 beats per minute. Actually, the beta swing was kind of solid with the left foot. Feeling good about that one, so let's go to 110 right away. Switching between 6 notes, 6 note triplets, maybe playing some patterns and stuff. Yeah, 110 felt even better than 100 beats per minute, so really happy with that one. One thing that I was thinking about while switching, when I switched to the 16 note triplets, was, again, and this is so important when it comes to the ankle technique, you don't want to focus on pushing down with your toes like this. You want to focus on lifting your heels. And even if I'm not looking at my heel, I'm always like thinking in my mind, okay, lifting the heel, lifting the heel. That's the kind of motion. And, you know, when it comes to this nervous twitching motion, many drummers like to call this a bad thing. Because actually what I'm doing here when I'm playing those 16 note triplets, that is the nervous twitching motion. Just like when you're nervous, you're waiting to take an important exam and you're twitching like that. All I'm doing is I know how to control that. But like with this nervous twitching motion, you can do this forever. It's not exhausting. This isn't exhausting either. It's about learning how to control that nervous twitching motion. Left foot feeling and left ankle is feeling good so far, so let's continue with 120 beats per minute. So, done with 120 beats per minute. Yeah, that one felt really easy because 120, 16 note triplets at 120, same tempo as 16 notes at 180, which is like the comfort zone. Again, with this pedal as well. Feels really good, really easy, and actually, just like expected, the increased spring tension. So when I'm pushing, I'm going to show you this one real quick. When I'm pushing down with those axis shortboards and the VDL all the way to the back. In the beginning right here, I can tip like this and it's already moving. It's like really low to medium spring tension, medium I would say. But then when the beta travels towards the bass drum head, like the tension right here, like here, it's actually really high. Now I'm pushing down. And so it's really close to the bass drum head, and the tension is extremely high right here. And actually this is helping me out big time with my left foot, because again, every time I push down right here, even if my left ankle starts to block or stop a bit, right after the beta hits the bass drum head, and it's always hitting the bass drum head because of the momentum, it's bouncing back and it's forcing my leg to relax and get back up again. And so I'm increasing the range of motion of my foot right here, which feels really good. So we are 15 minutes in, so right now I want to jump to 150. Again, switching back and forth between 16 notes and 16 note triplets. And then if I'm feeling good, I will also play at 160 as well. So 150 was okay, not as good and by far not as tight as 110 and 120, but still it was okay, it felt good. The beta swing with the 16 note triplets, especially with the left foot, was okay. So I'm really happy with that one, because like the last practice sessions was really bad and now it starts to feel better. And yes, since the pedal is bouncing back so quickly, it's a bit easier to just relax and like follow the pedal on this up motion, which is really good. Now let's finish this one at 160 beats per minute for the next 5 minutes. And done, 160. So actually the beta swing at 160, 16 note triplet, so same as 16 notes at 240, that one was solid. So I'm really happy with the beta swing. First time at 240 in this 300 BPM challenge, so that's good. So I'm really happy with this practice session. Sometimes when you start rehearsing, you already feel it's going to be a good day. And today was one of those days. 25 minutes in, again, that's enough for this practice session today. Now that's it, I'm going to head back to the car and let's talk a bit about the nervous twitching motion and the disadvantages, but also the advantages of this nervous twitching motion. And we are done for today. Awesome practice sessions. Not every day is like that, but that was awesome. Actually, if I got a practice session like that once per week, then I'm already happy. I didn't expect to get up to 240 BPM or 16 note triplets at 160. And yeah, it was only for a short period of time, always like 2 beats and some solid patterns. But still, good beta swing, being relaxed at the same time. So that felt awesome. Happy about that one. So right now I want to talk a bit more about this bad twitching motion. The backstory is actually, when I first started working on the ankle technique and finding out how this stuff works, I was using the twitching motion all the time. This was uncontrolled. I was stuck at 120 to 130 for years. And then with this twitching motion, I was able to drastically increase the tempo within a short period of time. And actually also within a couple of weeks, I learned how to control that twitching motion. No, it wasn't tight in the beginning. No, it was not useful in a musical way in the beginning, because again, I was just moving my feet as fast as possible. And it took some time to really get this down, so to really master tight double bass drumming. At first I just practiced actually with each foot separately, with this fast switching motion. But for me that was a huge step forward. I'm not the only one who was stuck for years at those slow tempos, 120, 130. I know how frustrating this is because I've been there. And once this worked for me, actually I started to teach the same concept to students in Vienna. I was already on tour with Belfegor, did a lot of one-on-one lessons in Vienna, one-on-one teaching in Vienna. And it worked great for my students as well. Same problem, they were all stuck at slow tempos, 120, 130, really frustrated, and they got this down really quickly. Later on, actually, one of my drumming heroes, and you might know this man, his name is Derek Roddy, drummer for Nile, Hated Turtle. Actually, I don't have to introduce him. Derek is the man. And he said something along the lines of, if you want to play fast, and if you want to learn how to play fast, you got to play fast. Yes, it's not controlled. Yes, it's gonna sound bad in the beginning, but you have to play fast. Practicing slow for years is not going to help you to play fast double bass. And with fast double bass, we are talking about even 180 to 200 BPM. If you keep on practicing at 120, the advice that has been given to many of us in the past, start slow, keep on practicing slow until you get this down. If you spend 10 years practicing double bass at 120, then after 10 years you will be really tight with double bass at 120 beats per minute. There are so many drummers that struggle with this, get frustrated, try to get faster for years and then basically just give up because it's frustrating, it takes forever, and it's not fun to be stuck at 120 or 130 at a slow tempo. So now back to the twitching motion and how I first solved this. This is all based on the concept that basically we want to use our pedals and pedal settings as not just practice tool, but as teaching tool to learn how to control this nervous twitching motion. So if you're starting out and you are twitching at 180 or 190, so this is your starting tempo on the floor and on the pedals, and you have a hard time controlling that, then first of all, it's all good. It's fine. You got your bass tempo, your starting tempo with the twitching motion. If you're lucky, then you got the same starting tempo with right and left foot. Most drummers, if myself included, I didn't have the same starting tempo with right and left. Right foot was a bit slower actually, and the left foot was a bit faster in the beginning with this nervous twitching motion. So now basically we want to move this nervous twitching motion to a controlled fast motion. And before I tell you about the 2 or 3 ways how you can learn to control the twitching motion, just one thing quickly about the advantages and disadvantages of the twitching motion, because it has such a bad reputation. So the big disadvantage of that twitching motion is hard to control, hard to use it in a musical way, it's hard to combine both feet. But now let's also talk about the advantages of the twitching motion. Number 1, I never heard anyone who said, oh, I've been twitching for 30 seconds right now, I'm tired. So you got extreme endurance, right from the get-go. You're using the muscle groups that you have developed already, your calves mainly, and you're just twitching. So you can play for long periods of time at high tempos. Tempos that takes most drummers years or even they never get there. Again, talk about those drummers stuck at 120 or 130, like myself. So extreme endurance and extreme tempo. So those are the 2 advantages. And yes, still the disadvantage, no control in the beginning. And now we're gonna talk about tools you can use to learn to control this twitching motion and go from this nervous twitching motion to controlled anchor technique at various tempos. First of all, when it comes to your pedals and pedal settings, again, we want to use our pedals as practice tool. So the first tool in our arsenal is the bass drum beater. If possible, use a heavier bass drum beater because you get way more feedback from the returning beater. There's just more weight moving around. A heavier bass drum beater is going to make it a bit easier for you to control that twitching motion. The one beater that I really like is the beater that I'm using right now on the Tama Iron Cobra Junior pedals, the original beater. That one is really heavy with great balance. Also the regular Axis Marksman beater, the black one is also great, not the forward beater but the regular Marksman beater. That one is great. One beater that is it's kind of difficult to master the ankle technique with that one is the regular trick beater, the lightweight. I think that's the lightest beater that you can buy on the market. That one makes it way more difficult to learn the ankle technique and learn how to control this twitching motion. Next, after bass drum beater, is beater weights. Beater weights are a cool practice tool, and when you're using beater weights, be aware that you don't have to always place them right below the bass drum beater. Works perfectly fine around the middle of the beater shaft as well. So you can experiment with different positions. And again, after the bass drum beater hits the bass drum head, on the way back, you just got way more weight pulling back, and the weight's pulling back is also helping you to lift your foot and relax again. So really cool practice tool, beater weights. That's the second one. And the third one is beater angle. A beater angle of 20 to 30 degrees makes it just way more difficult to get used to this constant beater swing, and you want to get this big beater swing down. And if you're starting with this controlled twitching motion and you just have like this small beater swing, and you incorporate those three, beater angle, heavier bass drum beater, and beater weights, makes it way easier for you to get this down. And yes, it will take some time. Yes, you won't have a lot of control in the beginning. Yes, it's not super musical in the beginning. That's just the way it is. But actually, if you do this we're talking about a couple of weeks, just a couple of weeks, that's what it takes to get this down. It's not going to be perfect right now, but for all you drummers out there that are stuck for years, and we are constantly having drummers join the academy who are stuck for years at 120 or 130. Just follow this concept for a couple of weeks. Give it a fair shot and you will see the results. Alright, and that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and following me on my journey to 300 BPM. I wish you a great day. Cheers from Vienna. Bye bye.